All right, this is page 2 of the secant and tangent page worksheet here. We are only going to do numbers 14 and 15. The rest of these are all very similar to ones we've already done. So 14 and 15 are also similar, but I did want to give you an example working with the expressions involved in the problems. So looking at this one, this intersection is on the circle. Since it's on the circle, what I do know is that the angle is going to end up being multiplied by 2 to get the arc over here. Hold on just a second. Sorry, I couldn't stop that one. Okay, so let's call this arc here A. And I will find out what A is, and then I will deal with finding out what X is. So right now, I know that 16x minus 4 is our theta. And this arc right here, this green arc, is our arc A. And I can use the same thing we've been doing, that theta equals A plus B over 2. But remember that in this case, there is no second arc, so it's B equals 0 because the intersection's on the circle. That means I don't really have to worry about the B. It's just going to be A over 2. So theta, which is 16x plus 4, plug that in for theta, equals A over 2. How do I get rid of the 2 off the bottom? I multiply by 2 on both sides. And 2 divided by 2 is 1, and that goes away. So what I really found out was that A is equal to, and let's distribute this to both, 2 times 16 is 32x, and 2 times 4 is 8. So I've got that A equals 32x plus 8. Now that's not the final answer. They want us to find x, but I can use that to get the final answer. So if I look over here on the opposite side, I have another statement about x. This other statement is that this is 38x plus 2. What do I know about the blue and the green together? Well, they make a full circle, so that's going to be 360 degrees. So what I could say is that this A, which is 32x plus 8, and this other blue arc, 38x plus 2, add together to be 360. So I'm going to make this equation. 32x plus 8, that's our green arc, plus 38x plus 2, both add together to be 360 degrees. So now, solve. There's our green one. So I'm going to put the 32x and the 38x together. That's going to be 60 plus 2 and 8 is 10, so 70 x's. And then 8 plus 2 is going to be plus 10. And that's going to be equal to 360. Subtracting 10 from both sides, I'm going to get that 70x equals 350. Well, divide both sides by 70. The zeros are going to cancel. 35 over 7 means that x equals 5. And we're done. I'll give you guys a minute to get caught up. All right. And moving over to number 15. So now we're getting into the pretty difficult ones. I'd say this is probably the hardest one on the page. So let's label everything. Here's our theta. Here's our A. Here's our B. Now, we might want to go back and look at what we've been doing in all of these. First off, these are tangents, so they hit at one point. This is a inverted arc, which means that it's going to be treated like a negative. A negative. So what we know is the old, same old thing we've been doing. Theta equals A plus B divided by 2. But we got to treat this arc like it's negative. So we're going to get that theta equals, I'm sorry, I should have plugged something in here. What am I doing? 6x minus 12 equals negative, let's start with the A, negative 12 plus 21x. Okay. Minus quantity, thank you, minus quantity 12x minus 24, all divided by 2. Now, I'm going to show you here in a second there's a simpler way to do this. Just happens to be in this situation. They weren't thinking when they did this. But let's go ahead and solve this. I'm going to collapse down this side and multiply both sides by 2. So I'm going to start by multiplying by 2. Multiply by 2, and this 2 and that 2 are going to cancel out. Multiply this side by 2, and I'm going to get 12x minus 24 equals. So over here, I need to put things together. This negative goes to both of those, making this a negative 12x and a positive 24. So negative 12 plus 24 is going to be equal to, that's the same as saying 24 minus 12, which is 12. Let's see, 21x minus 12x. Well, 21 minus 10 is 11, and 11 minus 2 more is going to be 9. So that's going to be plus 9x. Okay. Now, if I add 24 to both sides to move that one, those will go away, and then I get plus 24. 12 plus 24 is 36. So I'm going to get 12x equals 36 plus 9x. If I subtract the 9x from both sides, okay, and then I'm going to get 3x equals 36. Divide both sides by 3, and I'm going to get x equals 12. All right, great. So x equals 12. Unfortunately, that's not the actual answer. They didn't answer anything. It just gave us what x was. What we want to find is what the measure of this arc right here is from B to D. So the measure of arc BD is equal to the expression. Now, we don't need this negative anymore. 12x minus 24. X is 12. So that means it's going to be 12 times 12 minus 24. So that's going to be 144 minus 24. That's going to be 140. I'm sorry. Yeah. 144 minus 24 is 120. 120 degrees. Now, what was that easier way I promised you that I would show you? Well, we didn't actually even have to use this formula or anything. They didn't set it up real well. I could have said that the two of these add to be 360 because this red arc here plus the blue arc here add to be 360. So that would have just been a sum of parts problem, and it wouldn't have taken in any count of arcs, angles, tangents, secants, any of that stuff. Just add the red arc and the blue arc together to be 360 and solve it. And you should get the same answer. And let's just check. 12x plus 21x is 33x. Negative 24 and a minus 12 is minus 36 equals 360. Subtract that from both sides. I get 33x equals, let's see, 360 minus 30 is 330, minus 6 is 324, I believe. Divide both sides by 33. No, that's where I made a mistake. This was a minus. I knew there was a mistake. This is a minus 36. I need to add 36 to both sides. Man, Mr. Conaway, you're just hosing this thing up. So this would be 396, and then divide that by 33. And it looks like that's going to be x equals 12.